Class, this is our prep video for June 23rd, 4 p.m. class. Okay, so we have a 20-minute AMRAP, meaning we're working for 20 minutes straight. We have jumping jacks separating different fun movements for you guys. I'm always thinking of the fun things. So we do jumping jacks, a movement, more jumping jacks, a movement, jumping jacks, a movement, and then back up to the top. So what I'm looking for to start out with is 55 jumping jacks, or about 1 minute of jumping jacks. So if you do things a little more slowly, just take about 1 minute before we get started. Time yourself with a minute of jumping jacks and see how many you get. That's gonna be your number. So, as always, for our jumping jacks, what I'm looking for, standing up tall, legs go out, arms go up. If you don't want to jump, a nice little squat to arms up is fine. And of course, we can do this seated, and we can do this kneeling, and we can do this holding on to something. So Roma, for example, we can be in a kneeling position. I would challenge you, Roma and Antonia, anybody kneeling, to try to squat a little bit and then put your hands up overhead, squat a little bit and then put your hands up overhead. I think that's a little more interesting than just moving your arms. Give it a shot. So we start out with those jumping jacks, about a minute. After that, we're gonna get into some bent over rows or renegade rows. This is what our work will look like. We will be looking to get into a plank position, some kind of plank position, and then doing these rows, 15 per side, in a plank position, whatever your plank position looks like. Now, depending on your object, this might be a little awkward. If you have a big object like a backpack, let's try to get ourselves into a position where we can get a little bit off the ground so we have enough room for a big object to be down here and still be pulled up. You could also use a chair right here or something like that. I think that should work for just about everybody. Anybody standing and doing this work, again, we are leaning on something. Like Tristan, we can lean on a bar, or Rachel, lean on a bar and pull straight up with the object. Doesn't matter how high you are. So I'd love to see 15 on one side and 15 on the other, but obviously change the quantity as needed. So I like that movement because it works our pulling and our core at the same time. Okay. After we finish those, we're then gonna do another set of jumping jacks, same quantity as the first. Then we move on to some hang power cleans. There's some cleans. Now, as always, a clean is going from somewhere down here and bringing the object all the way up to our shoulder, all right? Our standard clean. We're looking for a total of 40. So if I had a one-handed object, I'd get 20 on one side and 20 on the other. I can alternate each rep. If I have a two-handed object, just 40 total. Now I challenge you guys, if you have a lighter object, like a backpack that weighs 20 pounds or less, let's make this more difficult by adding a full squat into the clean. So if this is quite easy, cleaning this weight up, let's then add a squat in to make it more challenging. We can, of course, do this in a kneeling position as well. So Roma, Antonia, that works fine for you. And we can, of course, do this on our back. Deanna, to do this on our back, we can just do dumbbell curls on our back, and then I think add a glute bridge in just to make it a little more interesting. So we get a clean plus a glute bridge. After that, this movement, we go back to jumping jacks. So we do another set of 55 jumping jacks, or 1 minute. And then our final movement is gonna be lunges with a suitcase hold. So what does that look like? We are gonna do our typical lunge, whatever it looks like. It could be a step forward, as long as you want, as wide or as narrow as you want. And then we bend our back knee as much or as little as you want. To do a suitcase lunge, it means we hold our weight to one side of our body only. So we do that same lunge, while holding this weight, balancing, and then coming back up. Now this will work with a backpack, it'll work with a dumbbell. If we are not going down further, so let's see what this lunge looks like on my other side with my right leg. If I just am stepping forward with a straight right leg and only go down a little bit, that works fine too. I think that should work for just about everybody. Tristan, I think it'd be interesting for you to maybe hold a weight with your left hand and use your right hand to hold on to your pole. Roma, for your lunges, or anybody, if the lunges are hard enough, we don't need to use a weight, just focus on lunges. But Roma, going back to our lunge, the one that we do from here, you can hold on to a weight and simply step forward and step back, and step forward and step back. I think that makes sense. So I think that should work for just about everybody. So as always, folks, practice these moves before we get started. You should know how many jumping jacks you're doing. You should go through each move and know how to make it difficult for you. As always, I want you looking good when you do this movement, but I also want it challenging. So there are a lot of different ways to challenge yourselves. With the jumping jacks, can we add a little more of a squat or a wider jump in there? With the renegade rows, can we get into a harder plank position? Can we get a heavier weight? If we can't get a heavier weight, drop the tempo, make the tempo a little more difficult. Hang power cleans. Can we, again, find a heavy weight? Can we control our spine, our shoulders, and our hips? And then if we can't get a heavier weight, can we add a squat into it to make it harder? Or a glute bridge, Deanna, to make it more difficult. Then when we do the suitcase carry, can we step further? Can we drop down further? Can we get a heavier weight? Can we keep control of our hips? Jerry, I don't want to see those knees deviate. Darby, same thing. Knees tracking toes. Can we be athletic while we do this? Good, guys. I think, once we finish the suitcase carries, that means we go back to the beginning of the workout and we'll do this for 20 minutes. So the number you do for each movement is not as important because we're all working out for 20 minutes. Just find something, again, look good and challenge yourself. Guys, I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. I'm gonna be tired. I start at 5:30 a.m. and I'm gonna be coaching solid through 3 p.m. Then I'll drive home and then I'll jump on the call with you guys. Still an experiment trying to get this new hybrid schedule to work. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I'll do my best to be as peppy as possible, but I always look forward because you guys know you're my favorite hour of the day. I'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday.